And so we are going to call the meeting to order. My name is Aaron Wheeler. I'm your CEO and General Manager. We all know how the Civic Center works. It can be loud up front, maybe not loud enough in the back, but that's the acoustics of this building. So just, try to position yourself, where you can hear appropriately. We are required by our bylaws to have a quorum, and we do have a quorum present. I would ask at this time that everyone stand with me and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by an FFA representative, Garrett Brigman, and then it will be followed by the national anthem, and then we will have our invocation given by one of our line foremen, Justin Wilson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to gather, God. I thank you for the communities that are represented here, that Howell-Oregon has the ability to serve, Lord. I just thank you for the members, for the safety that you have given us over the last year, God, through the different storms and different things that have happened. God, I thank you for the employees, from the linemen to the engineers, God, to the account representatives, to the billing, just everyone that works at Howell-Oregon day in and day out, Lord, to do the part that they have come to do. And I just thank you for that opportunity that they have. I thank you for keeping us safe in times when the storms come and everything happens around us, God. You give us the ability to be safe and be able to turn the lights back on for our members. God, thank you for tonight, and let everything that is said and done tonight honor and glorify you. In your name I pray. Amen.
At this time, I would like to introduce your board of directors. From District 1, Gerald Montgomery, Josh Roberts, and David Newman. From District 2, Keith Tharp, Clinton Reeves, and Brandon Huffman. From District 3, Dennis Walton, John Plummer, and Glenn Johnson. And from District 4, Scott Mahan, Randy Pace, and Andy McLean. One thing you're going to hear a lot of tonight is me really saying the word you and your, about you and your cooperative. And as I say that, something that we have really put at the forefront at Howell-Oregon is starting to create that advocacy with our younger members, because if you look around and ask around, younger members don't really understand what a cooperative is or the benefits of having the local-owned electric cooperative. So we've got a few programs that I want to acknowledge tonight. The first one is we do have a scholarship program that we award scholarships to graduating seniors. And this year's graduating seniors receiving scholarships are Emma Trantham from Alton High School, Miley Edens from Bakersfield High School, Quincy Stringer from Eminence High School, and Dylan Ferguson from Willow Springs High School. Another program that Howell-Oregon has not participated in for nearly 50 years, and we're really excited to bring this program back, is called the Youth Tour. What the Youth Tour is we select 2 high school students from our service territory, and we send them with a conglomerate of other high school students from other cooperatives throughout the whole state of Missouri to Washington, D.C. to learn about how cooperatives function within the whole nation and how that we impact lawmakers, and they bring that information right back home to help your local cooperative. So new program, we're really excited to do that. This year's winners are Briley Barnes from West Plains and Maya Voiles from Eminence High School. Last program, and we've been doing this for several years, is called the Cycle program, which is much like the Youth Tour program. However, this one takes place in Jefferson City. We select 2 juniors from local high schools, and we send them to Jeff City to learn about how Missouri electric cooperatives affect lawmaking in Jeff City and how it affects the state of Missouri. Those winners are not selected yet. They will be selected, I believe, next week, and those names will be announced on our Facebook page and within rural Missouri. The last thing I want to acknowledge is this year we had donation from Outpost Motorsports, the use of their UTVs, which allowed us to just give some rides to members, from the parking lot up here. So just thank you to Jeremy Pruitt and Outpost Motorsports. I am required to read the notice of annual meeting of members. So the 87th annual meeting of Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative Incorporated will be held at West Plains Civic Center, West Plains, Howell County, Missouri, at 7 p.m., May 1st, 2026, to take action on the following matters: to act upon reports of officers, directors, and committees, and to elect 4 directors of the cooperative. In accordance with the election of 4 directors scheduled to be held at this meeting, the following members have been nominated for directors by the Committee of Nominations appointed by the Board of Directors of the cooperative pursuant to the bylaws: David Newman from District 1, Clinton Reeves from District 2, Glenn Johnson from District 3, and Darren McLean from District 4. I'm also to read the affidavit of mailing, which basically is stating that the notice of annual meeting was mailed out on April 20th, 2026. And along with that, we do have unapproved minutes from last year's annual meeting. So I'll tell you what I can do. I can read all of this, 2 pages, or I can take a motion and a second from the floor and we can forego the reading of the minutes. I have a motion and a second. Thank you very much. If anyone wants to see these minutes, they are available at the cooperative office. At this time, we are going to have our Secretary-Treasurer report. And before Dennis does take the podium, just to save a little time, we're going to have a video right after Dennis is done. It's kind of become a tradition that we have a video just telling you about what's going on at your electric cooperative. We tweaked it a little bit this year, and what you're going to hear from is not so much employees, but you're going to hear from members just like yourself. So hope y'all enjoy that.
Good evening. This is your statement of operations as of 2025. Operating income was $53.3 million. Purchase power cost, $27.5 million. Expenses for operating and maintenance was $16.8 million. Depreciation of system, $4.9 million. Franchise taxes were $255,000. Interest expense, $2.6 million, which brings total operating expenses at $52.3 million. Patronage capital and operating margins were $1 million. Non-operating margins, $560,000. Patronage capital assigned power suppliers and others, $940,000. Total patronage capital and margins was $2.5 million. Your equity ratio is 31.75%. Total electric plant owned by Howell-Oregon Electric is $171 million. Total amount owed to RUS and other long-term debt, $97 million. Number of meters as of December 2024 was 25,857 meters. Number of meters for December 2025 was 25,887 meters. Your total miles of line as of 2025 was 4,915 miles.
Every community runs on something. In South Central Missouri, it runs on the people who live here and the power that keeps them going. Over 25,000 homes and businesses across 6 Missouri counties count on Howell-Oregon every day. The Dairy Shack has been a local landmark for over 50 years.
So the Dairy Shack was built in 1968, and it's been the same burger joint ever since. Burgers, french fries, chicken strips, ice cream, the good stuff. The Dairy Shack, as I said, has been around for years. My family's from this area, and it's not the main reason why people come to town, but it is a big reason why people come to town. And they come here because they were brought here as kids, you know, when they were young, back in the day when pictures were still black and white. I've worked here for almost 20 years, and then my wife and I, we purchased the business in 2018, we'll say, and we've had it ever since then. We are a faith-based business, and that's another thing that we don't hide. You know, we play Christian music on Sunday and Wednesdays, sometimes other days throughout the week. And I appreciate that my customers seem to be okay with that fact. 2019, October, we got a phone call that night that there was smoke coming out of the building, and I get here and it was engulfed in flames and collapsed, and that's that. That was also the year of COVID. So we dealt with a fire and COVID at the same time with the rebuild, but we have what we have now, and we're thankful for that. Before the fire, there was a house located behind the Dairy Shack. We had bought that with the intent of making more parking. We were going to tear the house down, which we did. You know, it kind of, when the fire happened, we just took that opportunity to level everything at that one time. Well, I couldn't level the power pole, and it was kind of located right in the middle of what is now our parking area. And so I contacted Howell-Oregon. Mike came out and done an assessment. What I thought was going to be an easy thing turned out to be more of a process than I thought. But at the end of the day, you know, Howell-Oregon knows better than I do, and they got us set up and going. The pole's gone. We have ample parking. It allowed us to have a more open parking space, and they accommodated not just my business, but the other businesses surrounding me. We worked with them to make everything kosher. So everybody at the end of the day was happy. We use a lot of power here. We couldn't run without Howell-Oregon. And so we've got, 4 freezers, a lot of refrigeration. All of our equipment is electronic. We don't use propane, so everything's electric here. The less I have to think about, the better for me. And so when we purchased the business, you know, I went to Howell-Oregon and I said, can I just have this taken out of my account? Do you have that option? Absolutely. So they helped me set that up, and my payments are made automatically. I don't think about it. I check it off on my bank statement and I know it's taken care of. The rest is history.
For farm families, electricity isn't a convenience, it's a lifeline. With the Smart Hub app, members can report an outage in seconds, with the report going straight to Howell-Oregon dispatchers. No hold music, no waiting.
My name is Julie Kelly, and we have been Howell-Oregon members for the last 25 years. In our family, we've been members for almost 50. Howell-Oregon has been lifesavers on the farm. All of our electric fence, our waters with the well, everything runs on electricity. So invariably it's going to be in the middle of the night when something goes down, just like it was last night at midnight. But we just appreciate the fact that, especially now with online, we're able to be connected to our accounts. And so we got on last night at midnight, and they knew our power outage, and they knew, you know, what we needed, and were able to get us taken care of a lot sooner than what it used to be a long time ago. In the spring, we had a couple different power outages, and we were checking on neighbors and trying to see what everybody needed, and we had called it in along with some other neighbors. And when they came out, we were asking them, you know, is it okay to be outside? And of course they were worried about our safety and making sure that was number one priority for them. But they were also teaching our young kids some of the tools and the equipment that they use. I appreciated, one, their speed to get what we needed so all of the power was back on, but also the fact that they would take just a little bit of time to educate the young people who might have an interest in electricity. And now our youngest is possibly looking at electrical engineering. So after the ice storms a few years ago, power outages or even flickers were pretty much an everyday occurrence. Now with all of the right-of-way work that they've done and cutting those limbs down that would just tap into those lines or even cause, power lines to be down, that's completely taken away now. So it's been a lot better for the farm. The linemen out there, they're the ones that make this area what it is to make sure that we have the electricity. I know there's so many people behind the scenes, whether it's IT, whether it's dispatch, whether it's the building department, but we are so thankful that we have reliable electricity, and not everybody has that access. So it's just really nice to be able to know that we can count on them.
When tornadoes hit near Bakersfield in 2025, Howell-Oregon crews were on the ground quickly, assessing damage and determining the next steps to get power back on for the community.
Stephanie Guffey, I'm the high school principal here at Bakersfield, and this is my 22nd year in education, and 21 of those have been here, and this is my home and where I was born and raised. First of all, I'm going to take us back to a year ago, March 14th of last year on Friday night. The tornado that came through hit us first, and so right away it was all boots on the ground. And Howell-Oregon specifically was there before even morning and had people on the ground just trying to get to our community and to get our service members safe and secured first from all the power lines. And then from there, right away, we're working hard to restore power. So post the tornado, our FEMA building became a disaster relief place for everyone. And so we had a great amount of, semis coming in with goods, Convoy of Hope and other community outreach businesses. And it was also a place for meals. So that was why it was very important to restore power. And we had power by Sunday evening. I'd additionally say Howell-Oregon is here for our community in far more means. Recently, they've come and helped us push out a fence roll for our ballpark, which we had to rebuild post the tornado and then the flood. And so, they just, anytime a disaster strikes, they're here so quickly and work so hard to get us back up and running, which could be life and death for some people, those that are on, have medical needs and such.
Reliable power, lower bills, and the tools that make it simple. SmartHub lets members track usage, spot spikes, and manage their account, all from their phone with AutoPay.
My name is Chris Orvik. This is our first generation alpaca farm here in Willow Springs, Missouri. We raise everything from alpacas. We've got an emu, we've got Highland cow. We've also got sulcata tortoise, just a bunch of general small animals here on the farm. My family also has the cattle farm here in the area. We've been here about 30 plus years. We've got Angus cattle that we run as well. We got into alpaca farming about 5 years ago. It's been quite the adventure, quite the learning curve. We've got about 19 alpacas on the farm right now. We mainly sell the offspring, the babies, and that's been pretty good for us. Ever since we moved here and built this farm, we've been on Howell-Oregon's utility lines, and it's been really reliable. We've only had less than a handful of outages since we've moved here, which is great. If I compare that to living in the city, we had quite the difference in outages versus here, and also the price comparison the cost reliability has been really good. We haven't had our utility bills stay pretty low compared to what we've experienced in the past, so that's been really good. We try to keep an eye on the usage that we have each month. We use the Smart Hub app for paying our bills. It's set on auto pay, and that works great for us. And we'll just click it and not have to worry about it again, so everything's taken care of. So that works great. I feel like that Howell-Oregon is very proactive in keeping our power lines cleared, keeping things the right of ways cleared, everything. As far as using outside contractors and such to keep all the trees trimmed and stuff to keep off the power lines. I think that's been great. And like I said, we've been here 18 years, and I can count in less than one hand how many power outages we've had. So that's been fantastic.
Over 25,000 homes and businesses across 6 Missouri counties count on Howell-Oregon every day. That's Howell-Oregon, powering the people who make this place home.
First, I want to say thank you to the members who just took time out of their day to participate in this video and just share that experience with Howell-Oregon. So thank you all very much for that. Also, I want to say thank you to Show Me Power. I'll reference them a few times, but Show Me Power is who we buy our electricity from, that eventually makes it to you. But they also do a lot of other services for us, as well as produce these videos. So Monty, Gary, Josh, and Winter, thank you guys and your team for what you do on these videos. They're fantastic. So as I look around this crowd, I see a lot of familiar faces, which is great because it makes me feel more comfortable up here. But I also look around and I see a lot of faces that aren't familiar, which obviously means you don't know me. So I just want to take a few seconds just to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Aaron Wheeler. I am your new CEO and General Manager. I've been at Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative for 23 years. Back in 2003, a position came open for midnight to 8, answering phones and dispatching. So at that time, I was in college, and I thought, this is a great way to make a few extra dollars while finishing my degree. So I was fortunate enough to get that position. And at the same time, I was dating this brown-haired, brown-eyed girl that just best-looking thing out there. And I knew, she's the one, can't let her get away. But to get married, I got to have a full-time job. So fortunately, a position came open in the warehouse at the cooperative, and I got that position. And it didn't take very long for me to realize this is going to be a career. In one form or another, this is where I want to be. And I started falling more in love with the structure and the business model of Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative. So fast forward a few years, I started talking with our CEO and general manager at the time, Dan Singletary, about my ambitions at the cooperative. And so what was started to be handed my way was more tasks and just making sure I could handle certain loads and stuff like that. So anyhow, I did that for several years, all the way up in 2000 till 2020, when I was named the assistant manager. And at that time, I really just got to start overseeing the day-to-day operations of the cooperative. And then fast forward to 2025, last year when Dan announced that he was going to retire, the board of directors brought me in, had a conversation, and ultimately they decided that I would be the 5th manager of Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative. And I will say that I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm excited about this position. And I'm really excited about the future of our co-op. So just a little bit about me. But we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about your electric cooperative. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone in here. I know tonight there are graduations going on, there's ball games. You all have farms, businesses, kids and grandkids. Your lives are busy, and the fact that you chose to spend tonight with us, I appreciate that, because this is your electric cooperative. We're here for you. We work for everyone in this room. So I want to talk about some things that are going on at your electric cooperative. Hopefully, since I've taken this position, you started to see my face a little bit more on Facebook and on our website. We're just doing more videos educating on what's going on at your electric cooperative. And there's two things I want to accomplish there. One is I want you to be educated, I want you to be familiar with me, but two, I think we all know that misinformation, especially on social media, is rampant. What I want to encourage everyone in this room to do is if you see something or hear something on Facebook or social media that just doesn't sound quite right, I want you to reach out to us. I want you to ask, I want you to clarify what's going on at your electric cooperative, because I don't want any surprises. Once again, it is your electric cooperative. You need to know what's going on. So let's talk about what's going on at your electric cooperative. Demand for electricity is rising, and it's higher than it's ever been. We have more electronics. We have a higher demand for electricity with our heating, with our cooling, and that means that your electrical system is working harder than ever to meet that demand. So that means that we have to make for sure that your electrical system is strong enough to meet that demand. We have to make sure that transmission lines, transformers, meters, poles, all of that is ready for power when you need it. And that's costly. So when we talk about costs and demand, let's talk about your wholesale power, the power that you get, that we purchase, that you get at the end of the day. That is the single biggest budget item for Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative. And that does come at a cost. To generate electricity, transmission upgrades have to be done, generation investments have to be made, and that's from Show Me Power. And any time that they have to increase rates to Howell-Oregon Electric, obviously that trickles to you. We all feel it. But the truth is, this is the electric business. Reliability is the most important thing. When you flip the switch, the power has to come on. When storms roll through, whether it's a 100-degree August afternoon or a single-digit January morning, your power has to come on. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, and I want to. It's a little off script. Tuesday of this week, a little storm cell blew through, and that little storm cell packed a punch. At one point, I'm sure some people in here were affected by that as well. At one point, we had 1,500 members without power. We had a lot of lines down, trees down, nearly 10 broken poles. I know we've got members in this building, and I also know we've got employees at the cooperative who would tell you not that long ago, that would have been a multiple day outage, 3 or 4 days to get that all repaired, because there would have been more lines down, more poles broke. But with the exception of one line that was giving us some fits, we had all those other members restored within 12 hours. I think that's worth an applause. Absolutely. And that is due to the investments that we have made to your system to improve reliability, and due to the team at Howell-Oregon that when those things hit, we buckle up and we go to work. That's when we shine. So we talk about reliability. We talk about costs. We understand reliability costs a lot of money. But we also understand that rural families here in southern Missouri are working hard just to make the ends meet. So what are we doing to help control costs? 3 examples I've got for you. We mentioned this last year, but we just finished a 4-year construction work plan in-house. We have the talent to do it in-house. If we had outsourced that, that would have cost between $75,000 and $100,000 just to outsource it, but we did it in-house. We also borrow a lot of money to make the investments into your electrical system. Our blended interest rate that we pay on all that money is 3%. We all know what it's like right now to refinance a house, to purchase a vehicle, or purchase a house. You're not getting 3%. But due to our negotiations, we're at 3%, and that saves a lot of interest expense. Something else that's exciting that we're doing to save costs is we have renegotiated our right-of-way contracts with Arkansas Electric Cooperative. They're the ones who clear the powerways, make sure the vegetation stays off the lines. So basically, over the next 3 years, we have renegotiated that to get the same amount of work done for $1.2 million less. That $1.2 million would have equivalated into about a 3% rate increase over the next 3 years. So that's 3% we don't have to worry about, just due to renegotiations. So let's talk about rates. We use long-range financial forecasting when we talk about rates. Last year, when CEO and General Manager Dan Singletary stood up here, he announced there's a rate increase for 2025. And that same long-range financial forecast showed that 2026 was going to need a second one. It showed that we could not make it through the year. But here's the good news. Even with everything, costs rising, our poles, our trucks, wholesale power costs going up, we are not planning a rate increase for 2026. Now, I want to say that did not happen by luck. I've given you some examples, but also your board of directors and the team here at Howell-Oregon Electric, guys, we work hard every day to make sure that the dollars are spent wisely and that projects are planned appropriately so that we can use your money as efficiently as possible. But I'm going to be honest with you because I told you this is your cooperative. We're going to be open, we're going to be honest, we're going to be transparent. That long-range financial forecast shows that we cannot keep pushing rate increases down the road. We know what the world is like today. That is possibly going to be next year. But by pushing this down the road, what we've done is we bought ourselves some time. We bought ourselves time to keep working on solutions like the ones that I just mentioned. We bought ourselves some time to decrease whatever rate increase is needed. And I think more importantly, we bought ourselves time to educate properly to you when a rate adjustment is going to happen, why it's going to happen. And when it does happen, we're going to communicate. We're going to communicate through our Facebook page, through our website, through Rural Missouri, and if need be, I'll have conversations. We're going to educate you on what's going on at your electric cooperative. So I'll wrap this up just by saying, at the end of the day, our task, you can view it as pretty simple. We're going to keep the lights on. We're going to keep the electricity as affordable as we can, and we're going to continue to be open and honest with the members that we serve. We live here too. We raise our families right alongside you. We go to church, we go to basketball games. We're right here. We understand what rural Missouri faces and the challenges that are going on. But when you leave here today, I want you to know three things. Your cooperative is financially stable, your electrical grid is very strong, and the employees here at your co-op, they're working hard every day for you. I want to say thank you for your time and for coming out tonight. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for your trust. And I thank you for letting us be your electric cooperative, because without you, this does not exist. And I really mean it when I say I appreciate everyone in this room.
Now you know the attorney took the stage. Something's going to happen. Good evening, everybody. At this time, I would like to call the business session to order. My name is Christian Horton, and I have the privilege and honor to serve the board of directors as their board counsel. And I also do legal matters for the cooperative that come up from time to time. So it's a privilege for me to be here at your annual meeting and this part of the business session. In accordance with the bylaws, the Board of Directors of Howell-Oregon Electric appointed a committee on nominations on January 30, 2026. And the nominating committee met on March 26 of this year to fulfill its purpose. I would now like to call Scott Schomburg, who is secretary of the nominating committee, to read the minutes of that meeting. Scott?
Good evening. Thank you for being here. The nominating committee of the Howell-Oregon Electric Cooperative met at the cooperative headquarters in West Plains, Missouri at 2:30 on Thursday, March 26th of 2026. This meeting was called to order by attorney Christian Horton, legal counsel to the cooperative. Roll was taken and the following members of the committee were present to establish quorum: Edwin Rogers, Mountain Grove; Elizabeth Voiles, Winona; Beverly Ledgerwood, Birch Tree; Scott Schomburg, Koshkonong; Gary Van Allman, Pottersville; Chris Oravec, Mountain View; Joseph D. McKinney Jr., Willow Springs; Frank Alford, Alton; Logan McGee, West Plains; Mike Cutter, Koshkonong, Richard Morgan, Myrtle, and Anthony Vanstinas, Eminence. The committee then officially organized by electing Frank Alford as chairperson and Scott Schomburg as secretary of the committee. Consensus was reached to evaluate board of director candidates who submitted applications to the nominating committee. There were 4 candidates in all who submitted applications to the committee for the committee's consideration for the 4 director districts having board seats up for election this year. In District 1 was Oregon County, District 2, Shannon County, District 3, Douglas County, Texas County, and that part of Howell County north of Township 24, and District 4, Ozark County, and that part of Howell County south of Township 25. The committee then proceeded to do the business it was assigned as set forth in the cooperative's bylaws, that being the selection of qualified board of director nominees for member consideration and vote at the annual meeting of members to be held on Friday, May 1, 2026. Results of the vote will be declared at the annual meeting in accord with the notice of meeting published in advance in the bylaws of the cooperative. The committee completed its review of all candidates to completion. Thereafter, the committee met in executive session to discuss the candidates, their submitted materials, along with information obtained from all sources. After due consideration, the committee made the following board of director nominations for the cooperative members' consideration. Subject to each candidate's continuing qualification to serve as board of director members based on the cooperative's bylaws and applicable policies. 1 director from each district below will be elected by the members of the cooperative at this year's annual meeting. David J. Newman, District 1. Clinton G. Reeves, District 2. Glenn A. Johnson, District 3. And Darren Andy McLean in District 4. There being no further business appearing, the committee meeting adjourned around 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Well, because the nominating committee has nominated 4 directors for the 4 board seats that are up for election this year, it would be appropriate for a motion to elect the directors by acclamation. So, do I have a motion to elect the board members nominated by the Committee on Nominations? I have a motion. Do I have a second to that motion? I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Congratulations to the 4 directors. District 1, David Newman. District 2, Clinton Reeves. District 3, Glenn Johnson. And District 4, Darren Andy McLean will serve their 3-year terms. Thank you very much.